Next patient, please come in.
Hello, doctor.
Hi, Mr. Ali. No, please. Don't shake your hand with me. Don't
I
you
beg
know
your
about the
pardon.
COVID-19 coronavirus? Stand
I
over
had
there
forgot
and
about
I'll
it.
ask you
Sorry.
questions. Alright, so what problems do you have?
Well, doctor, I have a big problem. I have a very big problem in my English language. Like whenever I try to speak the English language in front of someone. So first I have to translate my native language into English and then I speak it, but it really slowed down the process. It takes a lot of time.
Alright, it's so sad, but I'm a doctor and I cannot help you in this case.
I know
in this
you're a
situation.
doctor. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm asking you to give me a medicine, injection, etc. to completely get rid and eradicate the problem of translation.
Oh my goodness. Look, Mr. Ali, doctor, medicine, injection cannot help you to become a fluent English speaker. But yeah, just now I remind that there is a way that can definitely help you to achieve your goal of becoming a fluent speaker. That can definitely help you to speak English language fast, fluent and clear.
But where and how?
If you really want to achieve your goal of becoming a fluent English speaker, and you too, then I recommend you stay tuned and keep watching this lesson.
If you have got really bored from translating your native language into English in your mind, then this video is specially made up for you guys, because in today's lesson I'm going to give you some proven tips that will definitely help you to completely eradicate the problem of translation, to completely get rid from the problem of translation and speak the English language fast, fluent and clear, just like a native speaker. By the way, welcome to the ulenglish.com, which stands for the University of Learning English. Today in this lesson, we are going to talk about the topic of how to get rid from translation and speak the English language fast, fluent and clear, just like a native speaker. The reason I'm bringing up this topic, the reason I feel like to talk about this topic is just because a lot of you have been asking me over and over again, and since a really long time, how to get rid from translation and speak the English language fast as native English speaker. Like they say, whenever they try to speak English in front of someone, so first they translate their native language into English and then they speak it. And yeah, it really slowed down the process. It takes a lot of time to translate your native language word expression into English and then give response to someone. If you translate like that, then you will speak it just like a robot and not natural. And you know guys, this is the one and only hurdle on your way to fluency. This is the one and only thing that always holds you back from achieving your goal of becoming a fluent English speaker. In order to speak the English language fluent, you must confront translation. You must find a way to get rid from translation.
But how?
Alright, but before we move on, I would like to ask you something even more important. Consistency and patience. If you don't like consistency, if you are not consistent, and if you don't have patience, then I recommend you stop watching this lesson. This lesson is not worth watching for you. Then this lesson is just a waste of time. If you don't have patience and if you don't like consistency, go and watch something else. But if you are consistent and if you have patience, then keep watching this lesson. You are a really nice person and you really want to get rid from translation and become a fluent English speaker, because the tips I'm going to give you in the next few seconds is not going to work in night, in 2 days, in 3 days, maybe in 3 weeks. It is definitely going to take up some time, like not years, but almost 3 months to completely eradicate and get rid from the problem of translation. And success doesn't happen overnight. Everything worthwhile in life, everything great in life takes time, takes work, takes struggle.
How to think in English language?
Alright, we are human, and whenever we are free, we are sitting alone, we are walking or whatever. So we definitely think, we think all the time. Either we talk to ourselves, we think about our past, present or maybe future, but we definitely think. And unfortunately, we think in our native language. We just practice on speaking. We speak the English language just a bit. But we think in our native language all day long, all the time and everywhere. You know guys, here is the problem. Because we just practice on speaking and we think in our native language all the time. And that's why whenever we face someone, whenever we try to speak the English language, so first we translate our native language into English, then we speak it, because our mind is full of our native language. We did not train our brain to think in English language. We just think in our native language. In order to get fluency, in order to become a fluent English speaker, you must train your mind. You must stop thinking in your native language and start thinking in English language.
Cut to the chase, please.
First, you have to keep in mind, in order to get trade from translation, you must work up and ramp up your mentally set up fluency. If you don't know the mentally set up fluency, so mentally set up fluency means when you think in English language, this side is called the mentally set up fluency. So you should do whatever it takes to ramp up your mentally set up fluency. And to improve your mentally set up fluency, you have to think in English language a lot. The more you think in English language, the more you will ramp up, improve your mentally set up fluency, and the more you will kick ass the translation and you will become a fluent English speaker.
Alright, but if you don't have a lot of vocabularies, if you don't know about the grammar rules and tenses, etc., so how is it possible to start thinking in English language?
A really good question. And I know, guys, this question must be looping in a lot of people's mind. That if you don't have a lot of vocabularies, if you don't have a bunch of vocabularies, and if you don't have knowledge about the grammar rules, tense, etc., so how is it possible to think in English language? How is it possible to describe the people? And this very beautiful and spectacular question leads us to tip number 1. And here is the famous saying, the famous quote: don't be afraid to fail, be afraid not to try. You don't need to have a lot of vocabularies. You don't need to have a bunch of vocabularies, knowledge about the grammar rules, tenses, etc. You don't need to be an expert and perfect. I know, guys, you have just started learning the English language, or maybe you have spent a bit time in this field, whatever it is. And that's why I'm telling you to start thinking in English language in order to improve your vocabulary and update your vocabulary and become a fluent English speaker. You are a starter, you are a beginner, and that's why I'm suggesting you, that's why I'm telling you to start thinking in English language in order to take your English to the next level, even more. Now in this lesson, if you can understand me 60% or maybe 70 to 75%, so this means that you have learned a lot of vocabularies at your school, college, or whatever. Your mind is full of vocabularies, but you are unaware. Now all you have to do, all you need to do is just take that first step. Just get started. Start thinking in English language now. Start describing the people, start talking to yourself in English language now, because you have already a lot of vocabularies, but you are unaware and you have to utilize those vocabulary. Don't be afraid to make mistake. Be afraid not to try. If you make mistake, it's fine, it's okay. Make 1,000 mistakes per day, but also try your best to fix your mistake. And in your entire life, you can learn from 2 things, from your teachers and from your mistake, if you fix your mistake. So make mistakes are fine. I still make a lot of mistakes, our teachers make mistakes, and even native English speakers make a lot of mistakes. If you tell yourself that I don't have a lot of vocabularies, and if I try to think in English language, or if I try to speak in English language, so I will make mistakes, and that's why I'm not going to try, then believe me, you will stick here on the same place forever, and you will never ever get ahead. You will never ever get ahead even a little. So don't worry about your mistake. I'm telling you again that make 1,000 mistakes per day, but also try your best to learn from your mistake. Also try your best to fix your mistake, and don't be complacent about your mistake. And the passage of time, you will completely get rid from your mistake and you will fix others' mistake. But if you take that first step and if you just get started. Tip number 2. If you still think that I don't have a lot of vocabularies and I can't talk about something, I can't describe something in English language, then I recommend you, and I recommend all of you guys, to apply this formula as well. And what I mean by this formula, mix the English language with your native language, is let's imagine that you have 2 sides. In this side you have your native language vocabulary, and in this side you have English language vocabulary. And now you want to think in English language, you want to talk to someone in English language, or you want to describe something in English language. So first, what you should do? So first, you should start from this side, from English language. Try to talk about something in English language. Try to describe something in English language. But if you don't know a word, maybe you didn't learn or maybe you forgot that word, so then you can and should take that word from this side, from your native language, put it in sentence and try to speak it. Speak it over and over again, but don't stop and keep speaking. If you mix the English language with your native language, it's okay, it's fine, it doesn't matter at all, because it's your learning stage. You are still learning. Take some word from this side, take some word from this side and mix it and then speak it. And next time, try to learn that exact word, the word that you didn't learn, or maybe the word that you had forgot. So make mistake and fix mistake as well. Now let me tell you my own true story. When I started learning the English language, so I also had the same problem, translation. I wanted to get rid from translation somehow. I wanted to find a way and get rid from translation. And keeping that in mind, I went and consulted with my teacher, Sir Amar Sahel. And he advised me, he suggested me that I should start thinking in English language. I asked him again that I don't have a lot of words to describe something to talk in English language. Then he suggested me again that mix the English language with your native language. And I started doing the same. So I started thinking in English language. Even though I had a very low amount of vocabularies in my mind, but I just keep trying, keep practicing, and gradually at the passage of time, I got the better of it. And I was saying something like this. For example, this is kitab. Kitab means book. In our native language, we say kitab, and in English, it is book. But I didn't know the word book, and that's why I took this word from my native language and I put it in sentence. But I just try to speak English. Next one. That is a very beautiful kor. Kor means house. The weather is very khole. Khole means beautiful, and this means that the weather is very beautiful, but I didn't know the word beautiful, and that's why I took it from my native language. I put it in a sentence, but I just tried to speak. I just tried to train my mind, and I was just trying to give a signal to my mind that yes, I really want to get rid from translation, whatever it is, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to try. So whenever I didn't know the word like this, so I was taking that from my native language and I was speak it like this. And I recommend you to do the same. Mix the English language with your native language. It's okay, it's fine, because it's your learning stage. If you don't do this, if you don't make mistake like this, you will never fix your mistake, and you will never learn from your mistake, and you will never speak well. Like I was making a lot of mistakes. I was putting my native language words in English sentences. It was wrong, it was mistakes, but I also learned from my mistake. Next time I was trying to learn the exact word in English language. So I was making mistakes, a lot of mistakes, even enormous mistakes. But I was also trying to learn from my mistakes. So I repeat, if you mix the English language with your native language, it's okay, it's fine. Mix it, just try to speak. But all you have to do is just don't give up, don't give in, because there is always an answer to everything. Tip number 3. And one of the most important point of this lesson, consistency. Consistency is not only important in learning a language. Consistency has the key role. Consistency has a pivotal role in each and every aspect of life. Whatever you do, whatever you want, you have to be consistent in order to reach your destination. If you are not consistent, if you don't like consistency, then you will never ever get to your destination. If you are not consistent, then you will never ever achieve your goal, whatever it may be. So you got to be consistent. You have to practice consistently. You have to think in English language consistently in order to say goodbye to translation and speak the English language fast, fluent, and clear, just like a native speaker. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that you should think in English language all day long. You should force yourself to think in English language all the time. If you can think in English language for a minute every single day, or maybe for 2 minutes, 5 or more than that, then that is even more great. But make sure that you think at least for 1 minute every single day, whether you feel like or not, whether it's rain, hail, shine, or whatever. So you have to think in English language in order to give a signal to your mind that you really want to achieve your goal of becoming a fluent English speaker, and you really want to get rid from translation. So you must have to be consistent, whether you think for a minute, for 2 minutes, but make sure you think every single day. Don't tell yourself that it's Friday, I'm not going to think in English language. It's Sunday, I'm not going to think in English language. Oh, it's my friend's birthday, so I'm not going to think in English language. Stop making excuses. You are responsible for your life, and you are the only person that can help you to achieve your goal. You are the only person that can change your life, negatively or positively. It's depend on you. When I started thinking in English language, so for the very first time, I was not enjoying this practice. I was telling myself that it is just the waste of time. But I was somehow managing, and somehow I was trying to think in English language, whether I was feeling like or not, but I was thinking in English language. Like when I was coming from my college, or maybe when I was going to my college, so I was talking about the people, I was describing the people on my way, I was making kind of weird hand gestures. I was unaware, but I was talking to myself, I was asking questions from myself, and I was saying anything. For example, when I was walking at roadside, so I was describing the people like this, like for example, oh, that is a black car, the red car is coming toward me very fast, that boy is wearing a red shirt, the old man is riding on bicycle, and my hobby is to ride on bicycle. I absolutely love riding on bicycle. So whenever I was riding on my bicycle, so I was just thinking in English language. I was describing the people. I was riding in a market. I was talking about the people. I was talking about the fruit, the vegetable, etc. I was talking something like this. Like these are just example, but yeah, exactly I was talking like this. I was asking questions from myself, but I was just trying to train my muscle, to train my brain and get rid from translation. And at the passage of time, believe me, something magical happened. I completely got rid from translation. I completely eradicated the problem of translation. And I became a fluent English speaker. Now I can speak the English language fluently in front of anyone. I become a confident English speaker. I'm not bragging about my English. There is nothing to brag about. But believe me, I really want to tell the people the secret of fluency, and I really want to help the people that how they can achieve their goal of becoming a fluent English speaker. So I recommend you to do the same, because this is what worked for me. And I do believe that this is definitely going to work for you. If you're consistent, if you're persistent, if you are patient, you will definitely achieve your goal. And one of the most important thing, you are not going to enjoy this practice in the very first time. Like for the very first 21 days or maybe for 30 days, you will find it a bit boring. You will tell yourself, as I was telling myself, that it is just a waste of time and it's not going to help me. And it was a bit difficult as well. But I didn't give up, I didn't give in. And I'm telling you to do the same. Don't give up, don't give in, because there is always an answer to everything. Keep practicing over and over again. And after some time, once you make your mind habitual of this action, so then you don't need to think in English language. Why? Because your mind will think in English language automatically, autopilot. You will be unaware and your mind will describe the people, your mind will talk about the people automatically. But if you are consistent and persistent, and one day, remember that you will definitely ask this question from yourself, that, oh, where did I learn this word? Where did I learn this passage? The vocabularies, the phrases that you had already learned at your school, college, or whatever will start popping out from your mind, and you will amaze yourself and you will amaze the other people as well. This is the secret of fluency. Start thinking in English language. Everything worthwhile in life takes time, takes struggle, and everything worthwhile in life, it's not easy. You have to give and do whatever it takes in order to get your destination. Tip number 4. And now something even more important. Learn. Along with practice, you also have to learn something in English language. Like practice without learning is inefficient, and learning without practice is also just a waste of time. So you have to learn. On the flip side, you also have to practice. Learn and practice over and over again. Make sure you learn something new every single day in English language. It could be just a single word, expression, or whatever. But make sure that you learn something new every single day. But keep in mind, I'm not saying that you should learn the grammar if you are beginner, right? Don't learn grammar and tenses, because grammar and tenses will just make you bored and you will get frustrated. So don't try to learn grammar if you are beginner. Don't try to learn tenses if you are beginner. You can become a fluent English speaker without learning grammars and tenses. Now you just have to focus on vocabularies. You have to improve your vocabularies. You have to increase your vocabularies, the expressions, right? You just have to practice. And after that, when you become a fluent English speaker, when you tell yourself that now I can speak it better, I can speak it fluent, maybe not very well, but yeah, I can speak it fluent, then
you can and should try to learn a bit grammar, but make sure that you don't learn grammar every single day. So now you just have to focus on the vocabularies, the expressions. To be honest guys, personally I learn 5 words per day, but I'm not telling you that you should also learn 5 words per day because it's going to be a bit complicated for you. You're just starter, and I recommend you to start doing by small. Learn just 1 word or maybe 2 words, but make sure that you learn something on a consistent base. After some time, try to increase your learning average. In this week, if you learn just 1 word, next week try your best to learn 2 words. Then after a month, try to learn 3 words, and at the passage of time, increase it a bit. Because a little progress each day adds up to big and very big results. Tip number 5. Stop learning through translation. A lot of English learners make this mistake that they learn the English language through their native language. A lot of people learn the English language, but they watch the English lessons through their native language. They try to understand the words, the expressions through their native language. Some point it's okay, and sometimes it's okay, but not all the time. If you want to get rid from translation, then you have to learn the English language in English. Like right now, you are learning something in English language. Try to download an English to English dictionary, which define the words in English language. To be honest, personally I use this dictionary all the time, and it has so many and several benefits. Like for example, if you search a word in this dictionary like this, so you will get the meaning in English language. It defines the word in English language. After that, it also gives the example sentences, as you can see, and after that it also gives the synonyms of the word. So stop learning through translation. Download a dictionary like this. Sometimes it's okay to learn a word through your native language because it might be hard to understand that word in English, right? So sometimes it's okay, but make sure that you just try to learn English in English. And don't watch English lessons through your native language. Try your best to watch English like this. Like if you can understand me now, then you don't need to watch English lessons through your native language because your listening comprehension is so amazing, so fantastic, and really strong. So try your best to listen in English language. Alright guys, and here is the end of my lesson. But before I leave, I'd like to give you something more important. LPCP. I mean, learn, practice, consistent, passion. Learn and practice over and over again, but consistently, and you also have to be patient in order to get your destination. If you learn something, if you practice something, if you are consistent, and if you have patience as well, then I give you my word, I promise that you will definitely achieve your goal, whatever it may be, but you will definitely get your destination and you will become a fluent English speaker sooner or later. As always guys, if you really admire and if you really want to achieve your goal of becoming a fluent English speaker and speaking English language fast, fluent and clear, just like a native speaker, then I recommend you to join us. Join the ulenglish.com, because here on this channel on the University of Learning English, all the time I try my best. Every single day, early in the morning, we upload our relevant, concise and short lesson, just like this one, that can help you a lot to update your vocabulary, improve your vocabulary, and even more, that can help you a lot to improve your listening comprehension and your speaking proficiency as well. In addition, if you don't know, so every Monday and Tuesday, we upload our main content, our main lessons in English language that can also help you to build your confidence, speak fluent, and take your English to the next level. So what are you waiting for? You can't go wrong by subscribing our YouTube channel. Just move ahead, subscribe our YouTube channel, support yourself, and support us.